Hey, how's it going again, Heretics? James here. So today we're back at Maelstrom Hobbies and Games for another RTT. This one, yet again, we have 14 players, I believe, playing today. And today I brought the Nurgle Demon Engines. So it's been a while, and I'm busting them out for basically my last RTT of the year. I don't think I'm gonna have another one before I go visit my wife. So yeah, let's go in and see what I brought. Alrighty, so here is the list for today. So like I said, we did Demon Engines for this tournament. So we have a Spearhead detachment and a Nurgle battalion detachment. Nurgle Demons battalion detachment, sorry. And we actually start out with 4 CP after spending everything that we spend. So we'll go ahead and start with the Death Guard. So for the Death Guard, we have a Demon Prince of Nurgle. I spend 2 CP to make him Plague Chosen and take an extra relic. So he has the Epidemicyst blade, and he has the -1, taking -1 to all damage that he takes. Warlord trait, and that was mostly because we do have a lot of Sisters players. We do have White Scars, Heavy Bolters not being damaged too. I figured, you know, reducing damage might be a good thing. Trying that out today. We got 3 Plague Burst Crawlers, the normal loadout with the Spitters and the Mortar. We've got 2 units of 3 Myphetic Blighthaulers, obviously you can't change them, and 2 Foul Blightspawn. So my Warlord is actually the one on the left. He's got the Arch Contaminator Warlord trait, and then the one on the right has the Ironclot Furnace, and so that way I can basically split them up if I have to, and they can move different ways, and one can follow along with the Demon Engines, the other one can do whatever. Kind of the idea of trying some new stuff today. And then we have a Demons Battalion detachment, and that is 3 units of 5 Nurglings, a unit of 4 Nurglings, Poxbringer with Virulent Blessing, and Epidemus. So super easy list. Let's see what happens. Alrighty, so game 1 is against my buddy Xavier. Hi Xavier! He's been on the channel before with his Grey Knights. Grey Knights versus Demons. So this will be an interesting very first game. So we're playing Scorched Earth out of the GT mission book, and we will come back for the roll-off. Alright, so we are deployed. So over on Xavier's side, he's got his Librarian behind his Dreadnought. He's got a ton of Terminators. 5 more Terminators. 1 of his Dread Knights and 1 of his Strike Squads. In Deep Strike, he has the 2 Purgation Squads, 1 of his Dread Knights, and then he did outflank his Servitors over there. On my side, nothing's off the table, so that's weird. We got 2 units of Nurglings here, 1 there, 1 spread out here. Epidemius, obviously the Myphetic Blighthaulers, all 3 PBCs, and then my blob of characters. So that being said, I know we got to roll off. So ready, Xavier?
I'm ready.
I got a 6. You got a 2. I'm gonna choose to take first. So, good luck, Xavier.
Yeah, man.
Give you the handshake, and let's see what the demons can do against the good old Grey Knights. All right, so the end of the game. I know I said we would come back later, but we did not. So the end of the game, 88 to 45. Now I'll just kind of talk through my thoughts, and then I'll let Xavier give his thoughts. So it kind of boiled down to the fact of he redeployed his Dread Knight over here. He had both Dread Knights, the one deep struck in. The dude, his Warlord Dread Knight actually had a reroll charge Warlord trait. Failed his charge even with the reroll, and then the other one failed as well. So basically that left this entire part of my army unscathed. And the 2 Foul Blightspawns picked up the 1 Dread Knight, the 3 Myphetic Blighthaulers picked up the other one, and that was just kind of it. After I killed those, I was able to kill the last of the Paladins and all of his Terminators except for the 5. And yeah, we just kind of grounded out. So, Xavier, what were your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. I did make quite a few mistakes. The biggest one there is I had deployed the Dread Knight here and the other one here, and that reroll charge is actually an aura.
Oh.
And he was literally 7 inches away.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And I actually rolled another 2 dice. I don't know if you saw that, but I still failed with that. So I failed 4 charges basically.
Oh no.
And that's just like classic Grey Knights. Like if you fail all your charges, that's, you know, they just sit there and get shot. They're not tough enough to just hang it out. So, but it was a good game. I played as good as I could. Just kind of a bad matchup for me. So.
You saying demons are a bad matchup for you?
Demons are a bad matchup because one thing that you didn't do is you can't because you don't have the book. But when I play pure demons, they just bring the stuff right back every turn. This and Slanesh are my nightmare matchups. Absolutely. I'd rather play Marines than this. To be honest. Yeah.
Well, at least you know how to play Marines because they're more common. So
Yeah.
a lot more common. Well, thank you so much for the game, buddy.
Good game, man.
And I'll see you guys in round 2. And we're gonna do the walk around and check out the armies too.
No, learn something every day, man. I do appreciate all that.
Yeah, of course, 100%. That's what we're here for. So I forgot to do my walk around, so I'm doing this actually at the tail end of turn 2. So, game 2. So here was Chris's Ultramarines, a little bit closer up so you guys can see wonderfulness. I love the red and the blue. There's my Nurgle Demon Engines over there. Over here we've got Todd and his Astra Militarum.
See what I can take out.
Brought lots and lots and lots of Lehman Russes.
Lehman Russ is done, turn 1 or 2.
No!
Yeah, he's bullshit.
Here's Xavier and his Grey Knights that you saw in game 1. Looks like Xavier's controlling the board this time. Over here we've got Luke and his
Catachan Jungle Fighter.
Catachan Jungle Fighter mixed with a bunch of heroes, Custodies, got Custodies and stuff over there. Hi, Victor. Victor's waving. Victor and his Ultramarines that you guys have seen many times. So we'll come over here and just kind of take a look. Look at all the Custodies. Oh, damn it. Over here we've got Jack. Jack is playing, so his opponent actually dropped out, so he's actually, are you filling in for him? Yeah, we gotta fill in. So, and they're gonna play. Yeah, looks like they're gonna play. Over here we've got Scott and his amazing, hi Scott, you guys saw him in the last video, and his amazing death guard against the Imperial Fist.
So, what, 3 wounds there? 3 wounds?
So you guys can see that game is going. Over here on table 2, it is the Harley Quinns against Imperial Fists. And it looks like Alex has this one well in hand right now. Lots and lots and lots of bikes. And last but not least, we've got the White Scars of Matt versus Zachary and his sisters. And so those were the armies of the tournament. I'm sorry, I forgot again during lunch. So yeah, we will come back and see where we are at on the top table. Alright, so game 2, we are playing Battle Lines against Chris. Hi, Chris! And Chris brought his amazing Ultramarine, so he's got Marnius Calgar, a bunch of Intercessors, he's got Tigerius, he's got all the characters in a drop pod full of Grav dudes. So obviously the drop pod's off. Over on the Nurgle side, we've got some Nurglings and a couple Demon Engines over here. Got some more Nurglings spread out, and then a big Demon Engine blob with all of our characters. So, we get the roll off for first. Hey! I got a 2, so you get to choose, sir.
I will go first.
All right, so Chris is choosing to go first, and we'll come back at the end of Ultramarines, or not at the end of his turn, throughout the game and see where we're at. Oh, you can go ahead and start moving. So Chris took While We Stand We Fight, Scramblers, and Engage on All Fronts. I took Vital Ground, Grind Them Down, and Engage on All Fronts. So we'll come back and see how we're doing later on.
Always trying to learn new shit, man.
Yeah, of course. So the end of game 2, so we've basically we talked out the last few turns. As of turn 2, I had picked up basically all of his aggressors except for 2. He was left with 4 characters and a few Marines over here, and then he actually brought those in on turn 3. So we did talk out a few things, basically, hey, you kill this, you kill this. Ended up with actually a 100 to 49 point score because I actually held these objectives for pretty much the entire game, because at this point I would kill this, kill those dudes. He has no way to deny me here. I basically am swamped that with a bunch of tanks, and I would just have to basically handle the stuff in the back there. So Chris, what were your thoughts on the game, sir?
I walked into it. I knew it was going to be a tough game, and very well played. Thank you for all the help and everything like that. I really do appreciate it. But I had a good time. I thank you.
Yeah, as long as you had a good time.
I had a great time.
So we'll see what happens in game 3 for the Nurgle Demon Engines. Alright, so final round. We're at the top table with my buddy Matt, playing his wonderful White Scars. So beautifully painted. And so you guys can see there's a lot of stuff to just kind of talk about. So you guys can just see the giant line. Over on the Nurgle side, Nurglings, big old block of all the Demon Engines, Nurglings, more Nurglings, and Epidemius. So that being said, we have to roll for first turn. Where's my thing?
And then who's got
Everybody's got the Nurgle Demon keyword.
Yes, except for these two.
Two little blights.
Yeah, the blights.
Okay.
Foul Blightspawn don't have it.
Okay, so do they still benefit from Epidemus or not?
They do not.
They don't count.
Nope.
those? Okay.
Nope. And they don't add to my tally either. So he got a 5. I got a 6. So I'm gonna choose to go first, man.
Okay.
Good luck, buddy. And off we go to turn 1. All right, so we've packed up. Didn't get a video at the end. We were talking it out, so ended up 68 to 35 in my favor. Basically, what happened was I took first. Didn't actually do very much damage, but allowed me to kind of push up. Now these buildings right here kind of throttled me a little bit because I was not able to actually bring my Myphetic Blighthaulers through. However, the fact of, that I had the -1 damage of warlord trait and -1 to hit, the Myphetic Blighthaulers just refused to get hit. I'm not gonna lie, Matt's dice weren't very good. Rolling 4s to hit, he wasn't doing very much. So, yeah, can't save that. But yeah, that was the game. So, be back with my thoughts. Hey, how's it going, Heretics? James here. So, sorry, I'm gonna keep this a little short. Whatever's going on with my throat that's been causing all the issues where I haven't been able to do the live streams and stuff, it's kind of acting up today. So anyways, so thanks so much to my 3 opponents. Thanks to Xavier, Chris, and Matt. You all were great opponents. Always good fun times to play against Xavier again. Chris, it was nice to meet you, super nice guy. And Matt, always good to play Matt. So right now Matt and I are 2-2. So he beat me with the Castellan list, and then beat me yeah, when I deep struck those obliterators in and he Auspex scanned me. And then, yeah, I got him on this one, and I won one time at a Christmas event. So 2-2. It's always good to play Matt. It's always a good match. So overall, for the list, I really enjoyed this list. The biggest issue I had with it were picking secondaries, as most people can imagine, right? You know, engage on all fronts and grind them down is a pretty normal thing, especially when you have Nurglings. It's just almost an automatic go-to. But the third one was always kind of rough. The Vital Ground one was perfect for me. That was a very good one. I didn't even realize that was secondary. I think that's like the second time I've played that mission. And then against Xavier, I forget what I picked for the third one. Now against Matt, I did take a different approach. You know, I did still take grind them down because being, you know, mono Nurgle, it's very hard for people to kill multiple units a turn unless you're rolling real bad or they're rolling real good. And so I felt very confident with that one. And then I'm sure some people are probably like, well, why did he take domination? Well, on that mission in particular, you know, being able to hold 3 at the end of your turn is not a hard thing. And taking engage was not an option against Matt's list because what that was going to do is basically overextend the Nurglings and kind of play into what White Scar is really good at. I wanted to really limit how many things that Matt could get to turn 1. He still got to plenty, but it was more or less like I really didn't want to put the Nurgling so close to where he could just like remove chunks of them very early, because once they hit that turn 3, you know, and they go basically Super Saiyan and get damage too, those Nurglings just die. They don't do anything. So meaning that engage on all fronts was not a good pick there. Because I didn't feel like 9 was probably the most I would get tops, and then beyond that, and I wasn't able to really extend into his table quarters because of the way the terrain was anyway. So, so yeah, I took that one, and then what was the third one that I took? Oh, assassination. It was just that was the only kill secondary I could actually get off of him. I really had no other ideas. I was like, I guess I'll take this one. So I ended up working out in my favor. And so, yeah, overall the list, I thought it functioned very well. Myphetic Blighthaulers are really good now that the multi-melt is 2 shots. Just the fact that they can shoot in combat. AP -2 on their close combat weapons is actually very good, especially because you can tune it up to AP -3, you know. And same thing, you know, I actually used the parasitic fumes multiple times during the tournament to go to AP3 on their close combat weapons and also help out, you know, like my Demon Prince. So it actually worked out very, very well for me. Really liked it, PVCs or PPCs. Now, a couple of the options that I picked, which I'm sure some people will kind of question, is splitting the warlord trait and the relic between the two Foul Blightspawns. Now, yes, that did mean that I didn't have the relics exactly or the relic or the warlord trait where I wanted on everything, but it did allow me to kind of like respond and move the relic and warlord trait around. And it basically allowed me to spread out a lot more because I could be like, well, I need the arch contaminator over here, but over here I need the four invulnerable, and so yeah, that's kind of how it played out, and I actually really enjoyed the way that it played. I did not lose I think I lost one Foul Blightspawn the whole tournament, so yeah, and they're hard to get to, and then they hit very, very hard. And then the other option that I'm sure people have a question about was my Demon Prince loadout. So, in my tactic, I talked about the -1 damage was less good than like Revolting and Resilient and stuff like that. Well, with the changes to Space Marines, with a lot of their stuff going to damage 2, I did see that, Matt was taking White Scars. There was a bunch of Imperial Fist guys with heavy bolters. I knew they were going to have heavy bolters in mass. That kind of is what skewed that pick. The fact of the matter is, with the Marine meta, if you do see a lot of White Scars, they're going to rely very heavily on that ticking up to the 2 damage on their chapter trait. That's kind of how they function, right? So having a Demon Prince that only takes 1 damage from everything is very, very good thing to have in your pocket. Same thing, you can tank things like Blade Guard veterans just fine. You can take quite a few things that normally you might not be able to, and that's kind of what picked that. Now, the Epidemus blade, that was a choice yet again, because literally there was one other Chaos player and one Xenos player. Everyone else was Imperium. So the reason why I picked that was basically double exploding 6s, because you explode 6s from the Epidemus blade, and then you also get Death to the False Emperor. So that basically means you get 2 attacks for every 6, which turned out to be fantastic, especially when you're strength 8 rerolling all wounds. So that was a very, very good choice. I was actually quite surprised at how much damage that guy could do. And he didn't die. He did not die in any game. I just kind of kept him with the Demon Engines because the Demon Engines were like the main threat, So yeah, I mean, overall, I was very impressed at the way that the list worked. Obviously, taking second because of points. That was I took a lot of hits on the primary in that last game with Matt. And he did very well at denying me those primary points. Like, he was able to remove a lot of Nurglings very quickly, especially towards the end. And then I really couldn't, with the way that the terrain was, there wasn't space for him to move through those lanes very easily. So he just kind of mucked him up with just random intercessors and stuff like that. So yeah, no, Matt did a fantastic job, and definitely commend him on that. So but yeah, overall, I really, really enjoyed the game. And so as far as my opponents, Xavier, he did have a couple bad dice rolls, with the failed charges. But beyond that, I really felt I had that game in hand. Grey Knights, they are still very good, but they definitely took a hit with the smite nerfs. Xavier, so he stayed in Tide Shadows the first 2 turns before he moved, or maybe it was just turn. No, I think it was the first 2 turns he stayed before shifting to the psychic, the +1 damage one when he had dropped in everything. And I think that was a very, very good play. It allowed his paladins and stuff like that to stay. They were a lot harder to kill than normal, basically getting cover all the time from my PVCs and stuff like that. So I thought that was a very clever play, and talking to him afterwards, he talked about maybe he should have deep struck the paladins too. So I probably agree with that. I did not realize that the reroll charges was an aura around the Dread Knight, so that's also another thing. He said he should have placed the 2 Dread Knights together to get the reroll charges, which he did roll it, and he failed 4 charges in a row. So I'm sorry, buddy. That sucks. That's hard dice. But yeah, overall, I felt very confident in that matchup. Grey Knights, they do Grey Knight things. So if you know what they do, that's what they do. So, and that is the one game that I lost the most Demon Engines. I was surprised he did not take Bring It Down. So, Xavier, take Bring It Down next time. Game 2 against Chris. So Chris, I'm very sorry. So he was not very into the game after turn 2. Basically just killed everything, handily had that game in hand. I told him, going into the game, I looked at his list and I was like, yeah, you just, everything was like strength 4 for the most part. Yeah, he has aggressors. Aggressors are not nearly as scary as what they once were. All the things you hear are true. They are definitely not nearly as bad as they once were. And I was just like, yeah, you just had tons of strength 4 weapons. And the only things I really was worried about was the grav devs and the eradicators, because those were the only things that really hurt the tank. So, and that was it. So just basically picked up everything. And I mean, I'm sorry, Chris. I'm very, very sorry. But it was a good learning experience for him. He learned a lot, talked through quite a few things. And so look forward to seeing him. He did end up in like 5th or 6th place. So yeah, he definitely came back on that last game and was able to get another win. So congrats, bud. And then game 3 against Matt. So, just a very, very good opponent. Usually if there's a meta list or something that's overwhelmingly winning tournaments, Matt has it. The benefits of his position in the military, he's higher ranking than me. But gorgeous white scars. He did those really, really good. I like the way you painted him. And so his list overall, I really enjoyed it. That all the eradicators had me scared. Just the fact of I knew, he can turn on the white scars doctrine and just turn 1 come after me. Some really interesting choices that he did. So as an example, he put the doctrine on 3 outriders and charged them in to try to kill a Nurgling squad. The only thing that saved my bacon there was I did Nurgling infestation to bring a couple more back. And then, so Nurgling Infestation is very, very good. I did actually utilize that, I think, 2 or 3 times in most of my games. So even though I only started with 4 CP, it was usually, for my CP usage, it was usually Nurgling Infestation, extending the range of the Foul Blightspawns, and then Foul Gush once, and then I did the 4-up invulnerable save on Nurglings, and that was against Matt to try to prevent his outriders from removing a Nurgling squad by giving them a 4-up invulnerable. So that actually mattered quite a bit in that matchup. But so that was a really interesting choice. So felt a little bad. So Matt did not realize the way that Lookout Sewer worked. So when he had charged all of his bikes up turn 1, because he had advanced them 20 inches, he advanced his chaplain up, made sure the 2 units were within 6. Well, he didn't know Lookout Sewer was only 3 inches. So I was able to kill his chaplain. And he honestly, he was playing it at 6 inches. I was like, yeah, dude, it's 3. He's like, where did I get 6 from? So sorry about that, Matt. But yeah, so I was able to kill his chaplain, and he learned that. And then he also learned that, doing the double 6s thing for the epidemicyst blade. Yeah, there was a lot of discussion on, there was a FAQ basically where he got confused as to whether or not you could have multiple rules of different names that do the same thing, and you can. So yeah, and we had a lot of discussions about that. But his list hit incredibly hard. The big thing with white scars is you need to hit them just as hard, and that's kind of that's why I took first, even though I think I killed 1 flying dude and like 2 of his Vanguard vets. That's literally all I did on turn 1. But it allowed me to push up, get positioning, and then also at the same time it kind of pushed back his going to the assault doctrine, and I got to decide what happened on turn 3, which I feel like was actually kind of a big deal. Even though he had locked up like my whole army on turn 2, I was able to hit him so hard and remove so many threats that when turn 3 came around, I got to decide where I was going to fall back and shoot and stuff, and just basically pick him apart. And he really wasn't allowed to, able to leverage that +1 damage, which is, where White Scars really shine. But he did very, very good at denying me secondaries and stuff like that. The fact I had to hold 2 was kind of a pain in the ass. So it was a very, very good game. Played very, very well. Even though I tabled him on turn 5, just overall, just a very excellent game, and I learned a lot too. So it's those tight games that you learn the most. So, but in the end, I really enjoyed the Demon Engines. I enjoy this version of the Demon Engines. So that being said, this is my last tournament of 2020. I've basically promised my wife I'm not going to go to tournaments for the rest of the year due to COVID and stuff. The numbers are upticking, so basically I'm going to try to stay away from tournaments and stuff. Not to say that I'm not going to play any 40K, right? Because I still need to film some stuff. But yeah, it's good to go out of 2020 with a bang. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please like, subscribe, share. I am going to go drink some water and try to soothe my throat. So I'll see you guys in the next video, Heretic Wargaming.